The unequal cooling of its surface.
I say, do you still think it's a meteor, Professor?
What do you think? The metal casing is definitely extraterrestrial. Not found on this Earth. Friction with the Earth's atmosphere usually tears holes in the meteorites and expose them. See a cylindrical shape.
Nothing's happening. Ladies and gentlemen, this is terrific. This end of the thing is beginning to play.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Top is beginning to rotate like a screw, and the thing must be hollow.
Keep those things back! Keep those things back! Take off! Come out, man!
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the most terrifying thing I've ever witnessed. Wait a minute. Someone calling someone or something, I see, turning out of that black hole through a luminous disc. The eyes, might be a face, might be all over the heavens. Something breaking out of the shadow like a gray snake. Now it's another one, and another one, and another one. They look like tentacles to me.
I have guessed.
I can see the thing's body now. It's large as a bear. It's like wet leather, but it's fake. Ladies and gentlemen, to describe it, I can hardly force myself to keep looking at it. It's so awful. The eyes are black and they gleam like a serpent in the mountain. A kind of V-shape with saliva dripping from its rimless lips. It seems to those quiver and pulsate, and the monster or whatever it is can hardly move. He's weighed down by possibly gravity or something. The thing's
It's been an interesting
rising up
day.
now, and the cloud falls back and seems plenty. And of course, it's not very experienced, but you know, I can't find words. Well, I'll pull this microphone with me as I talk. I'll have to stop the description so I can take a new position. Hold on, will you please? I'll be right back in a minute.
At, I think it's called Team Tactics. And it was awesome.
We are bringing you an eyewitness account of what's happening on the Wilmot Farm, Groversville, New Jersey. We now return you to Carl Phillips at Groversville.
Ladies and gentlemen, my aunt. Ladies and gentlemen, here I am, back at the stone wall that joins Mr. Wilmer's garden.
So,
From here, I get a sweep of the whole thing. I'll give you every detail as long as I can talk, as long as I can see.
Team Tactics.
More state police have arrived and going up
Me
the course in front of the pit.
Lord Dagon and our buddy.
No need to push the crowd back now. They're willing to
call him
keep their
Thaddeus.
distance. The captain conferring with someone, can't quite see who. Yes, I believe it's Professor Pearson. Yes, it is. Now they've parted, and the professor moves
It was a
around
birthday
one
party.
side, studying the object while the captain and two policemen advance with something in their hands. I can see it now. It's a white handkerchief tied to a pole. Flag of truce. Those
We were there
creatures know what
basically
that
to
means,
fill out
but
the
anything
roster.
means.
So,
There's something happening.
Thaddeus
Shaking
would have friends to
make out
play
a
with,
small beam of light against the mirror.
on the adult team.
What's that? The jet of flame springing from the
rowdy
mirror and
bunch
leaps right at the advancing men. Strikes them
preteens
head on. Lord, they're setting the flame. He is caught by the wood and the fires. The gas
You
tanks,
expect
the automobiles spreading everywhere. Coming this way now. About 20 yards
boys
to my
to
right.
be ruthless. Girls,
Ladies and gentlemen, due to circumstances beyond our control, we are unable to continue the broadcast from Grover's Mill. Evidently, there's some difficulty with our
can this
field
be
transmission.
especially
However, we will return to that
Convenience.
point at the earliest opportunity. In the meantime, we have a late bulletin from San Diego, California. Professor Ecclestrofer, speaking at a dinner of the California Astronomical Society,
to their credit, they
expressed the opinion that the explosions
the
on
youngins
Mars
didn't
are
do too
undoubtedly
bad.
nothing more than severe
Especially
volcanic
in the first
disturbances
game.
on the surface of the planet.
They were corralled
We
in the
continue now
back.
with our piano intro.
So there are two arenas. One is a garage and the other one's a warehouse.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've just been handed a message that came in from Grover's Mill by telephone. Just one moment, please.
Pistols,
At least
P90s,
40 people,
M4s,
including 6 state troopers,
AKs.
lie dead in the field east of the village of Grover's Mill.
And they weren't
Their
then
bodies
sometimes
burned and
shotguns, but they
distorted
weren't
beyond all
available.
possible recognition. The next voice you hear will be that of
and it's
Brigadier
basically
General
laser tag.
Montgomery Smith, commander of the state militia
vests,
at Trenton, New Jersey.
helmets, riot shields.
I have been requested by the governor of New Jersey to
when we were
place the
playing
county
teams,
professor in Middlesex as
that was a lot more chaotic.
east to
But
Jamesburg,
once it
under
was
martial
adults
law.
versus the kids,
No one will be permitted to enter this area
Yeah,
except
we
by
went to work.
special pass issued by state or military authorities.
that was
Four companies of
satisfying.
state militia are proceeding from Trenton to
The one
Grover's
girl,
Mill,
Jinx, she was
and,
really good
will
though. She
aid
was
in
the devious one,
evacuation of homes within the range
and
of
she caught
military
all of us
operations.
like lacking,
Thank you.
like until we found her.
You have just
Like
been
she got
listening
us
to
all
General
in the back
Montgomery
every
Smith,
fucking time.
commanding the state
It was,
militia at Trenton.
it was
In
impressive.
the meantime, further details of the catastrophe at Grover's Mill are coming in. The strange
So,
creatures, after unleashing their deadly assault,
um,
crawled back in their
we
pit and
managed
made
to
no
get,
attempt to prevent
pictures,
the efforts of the firemen to recover the bodies and extinguish
and
the fire.
your boy was
Combined
using a
fire
P90 in
departments
the
of Berkeley
second
County are
round,
fighting the flames, which
and
menaced the entire countryside.
boy was that P90
We have been
heavy.
unable to establish any
Like,
contact with our mobile
really
unit at
heavy.
Grover's Mill.
It was like
But
carrying
we hope to
around
be able to
like
return you there at the earliest possible moment. In the meantime, we take you to...
remember one of those
Just one moment,
backups
please.
batteries? It was like carrying around a heavy one, like a heavy
Ladies and
version
gentlemen, I
one
have
of
just
those.
been informed
But
we
it was
have
in the
finally
shape of a
established
P90.
communication
It
with an
felt good.
eyewitness of the tragedy.
By the time I left the
Professor
match,
Pearson has been
I
located
was
at a farmhouse
absolutely
near
wanting to
Grover's
take it
Mill,
home.
where he
It
has
felt
established
really
an
good, even if it was heavy.
emergency observation
It
As
felt
a
really
scientist,
good.
he will give you his explanation of the calamity. The next voice you hear
But yeah,
will
we
be
had
that
a
of
we had a
Professor
good
Pearson,
time. They had
brought
video
to you by
games
direct
there.
wire. Professor Pearson.
Turtles in Time. One of the Street Fighter game, Street Fighter vs. Capcom, I think it was. And one of the old 2000 football games. And then they had systems, like console systems on the other side. And if you wanted to, you could have a private party room or like private area and everything, and like you could have pizza and all that shit. Like it was pretty good. Like, we had a good time. Definitely good for team building, or good for parties or birthdays. Relatively affordable, all things considered. I think it was like $300-400 for like 10 people with the private room or the private area.
Thank you,
Food,
Professor Pearson.
drink, video
Ladies
games,
and gentlemen,
and
here
2
is the
rounds
bulletin from Trenton. It is a brief statement informing us that
laser
the
tag
charred body of Carl
for like
Phillips
$300-400
has been identified in the Trenton hospital.
I mean, it was.
Now here's another bulletin
that's
from
not
Washington,
bad at all.
D.C.
Like for
The
real.
Office of the Director of the
it's
National
a good
Red
chunk of
Cross
change.
reports 10
Nothing to
units of
sneeze
Red
at,
Cross
but
emergency
all
workers
things
have been
considered,
assigned to the headquarters of
it
the
was
state
really
militia, stationed outside of Grover's Mill, New Jersey. Here's the bulletin from
And
State
then
Police, Princeton Junction.
after that,
The fires at Grover's Mill and vicinity are now under control.
spent the
Scouts
rest
report
of
all quiet in the pit, and there is no
spending
sign of life appearing from the mouth of the cylinder.
day and
Now, ladies and
evening
gentlemen, we have a
and
special statement from Mr. Harry
hopefully
McDonald,
morning
Vice President
with
in
my
charge of
favorite
operations.
person in the world.
We have received a request from the state militia of Trenton to place at their disposal our entire broadcasting facility.
She would have a few
Due to
choice
the gravity of
words.
the situation,
Not
believing
bad
that
ones,
radio
but
has
choice words
responsibility
anyways,
to
if she
serve
heard
in
me
the
say
public
that.
interest
But
at all times. We are turning over our facilities to the state militia at Trenton. We take you now to the field headquarters of the state
had
militia
sushi today
near Grover's Mill, New
for
Jersey.
lunch and dinner, and I'm
This
paying
is
for it.
Captain Lansing of the
in
Signal Corps, Texas State Militia, now engaged in military operations in the vicinity of Grover's Mill. Situation arising from the reported presence of certain individuals of
now,
unidentified
kind of
nature is now under complete control. The physical object lies in the
the
pit
noise
directly
level.
below our position, surrounded on all sides by 8 battalions of infantry. Without heavy field pieces, but adequately armed with rifles and machine guns.
Because
All cause for alarm, if such cause ever existed, is now entirely unjustified.
she's had a rough day.
Things, whatever they are, do not even venture to poke their heads above the pit. Their
Rough
hiding
week,
place
rough
plainly
month.
in the glare of the searchlight here.
Rough
With all their reported resources, these creatures can scarcely stand up against heavy machine gun fire. Anyway, it's an interesting outing for the troops. I can make out their cotton uniforms crossing back and forth in front of the light. Looks almost like a real war. There appears to be some slight smoke.
I'm trying to be quiet because I don't want to.
Fire
I'm just trying to be respectful to her.
Well,
And still,
you ought to see some action soon. One of the companies is
because I told
deploying
her I
our
was
left
going to
flank.
stream.
A quick
So
thrust
here I
will
am.
all be over. Wait a minute, I see something on top of the cylinder. No, it's nothing but a shadow.
We're
One
going
of the troops on the edge of the room at Farm. 7,000 armed men closing in on an old metal tube. That's tough, rather. Well, wait, that wasn't a shadow. It was something moving. Solid metal, kind of a shield-like affair rising up on the cylinder. going higher and higher. But it's
Our
standing
policy
on
of
legs.
systematically
Actually rearing
filling
up on a
out
lot of metal framework.
the map.
Now it's reaching above the trees and the searchlights are on it. Hold on.
And we have a lot of places to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a grave announcement to make. Incredible as it may seem, both the observations of science and the evidence of our
Here's
eyes
Raven Rock.
lead to the inescapable assumption that those strange beings who landed
so,
in the Jersey farmland tonight are the
Let's do
vanguard
a
of the
dab real
invading
quick,
armies from
and
the
then we'll
planet
get
Mars.
underway. I don't
The battle which took
have
place
any
tonight
time
at
restrictions
Grover
tonight.
Mills has ended one of the
I'm
most
kind
shocking
of
defeats
tired,
ever
so we'll
suffered by an army
probably
in modern
keep it to
times.
about 2 hours.
7,000 men armed with rifles and machine guns
And then I'm
pitted
probably
against
gonna
a single fighting
go to
machine
bed.
of the invaders from Mars. 120
And
known
a very
survivors.
nice warm blanket
The rest
that
strewn over
is
the battle
ready
area
to
from
go
Grover's Mill
on
to Plainsboro,
the bed.
crushed and trampled to death under the metal feet of the monster, or burned to cinders by its heat.
Hopefully I can snuggle
The
into
monster is now in control of the middle section of New Jersey, effectively cut the state to its center.
Scary.
Communication lines are down from Pennsylvania to the Atlantic Ocean. Railroad tracks are torn and service from New York to Philadelphia discontinued except routing some of the trains through Allerton and Phoenixville. Highways to the north, south, and west of Clark with frantic human traffic. Police and army reserves are unable to control the mad flight. By morning, the fugitives will have swelled Philadelphia, Camden, and Trenton is estimated to twice their normal population. Martial law prevails throughout New Jersey and eastern Pennsylvania. At this time, we take you to Washington for a special broadcast on the national emergency. The Secretary of the Interior.
Citizens of the nation, I shall not try to conceal the gravity of the situation confronts the country, nor the concern of your government in protecting the lives and property of it. However, I wish to impress upon you, private citizens and public officials, all of you, the urgent need of calm and resourceful action.
Get some more wax.
Fortunately, this formidable enemy is still confined to a comparatively small area,
Merlin.
and we may place our faith in the military forces to keep
Um,
them.
Yeah,
Meantime, placing our faith in God, we must continue the performance of our duties, each and every one of them, so that we may
Hold on.
confront this destructive adversary with a nation united. United, courageous, and consecrated to the preservation of
Better?
human supremacy on this earth. I thank you.
The reason I'm trying to keep my
You have
voice
just heard the
level
Secretary
and
of the
quiet
Interior
is
speaking to
because
Washington.
somebody is sleeping,
War
and
of
I
the
don't
Worlds
want to
by
wake them.
H.G. Wells, starring Orson
But
Welles and the
I am
Mercury
here
Theater on
to
the Edge.
hang out. Yeah, that's why there's no kitty cam today. Usually Gomi's pretty fucking salty right now because his spot is occupied.
I set down these notes on paper.
My spot is occupied.
I'm
but his
obsessed
spot
by the
in
thought that
general
I may be the last living man on Earth. I'm hiding in this empty house near Grover's Mill.
Can you hear me, Merlin?
Daylight cut off by the black smoke that spread the world. All that happened before the arrival of these monstrous creatures in the world now.
Yeah. We're just gonna keep it nice and cool tonight.
Further existence of lonely derelict.
You know, I'm not much of a drinker, but I helped her polish off some Mickeys tonight, and I forget how easy Mickeys are to drink. They're not a bad, they're not a top shelf or anything, but they go down very nicely. Oh yeah, he's not happy. Arya wasn't happy either, but this is rare. You know what I'm saying? Usually I go over there, so they can deal with it for a little while.
Did they ever exist? Am I Richard Pearson?
And,
Date.
just so like she could have some peace of mind. She had me go over to her house and check on Mia so that
Writing down my daily life, I tell
she
myself I
could
should preserve
relax
between the
and
dark
worry
covers
about
of the
herself.
book.
She's still worried. She's probably dreaming that
Right.
of worrying about me.
Find molded red in the kitchen. Orange. Boiled and swallowed. Keep watching for it. Time to time I catch sight of a Martian above the black smoke. Smoke still holds the house in its black coil. Next to it, town. And suddenly I see a Martian mounted on his machine. Spraying the air with a jet of steam as it dissipates the smoke. Watching the corner is this huge metal leg.
Miss Ashante got a.
Exhausted by terror, I thought.
I'm not a drinker no more, bro. In fact, I've never been a real drinker. Like when I did do my partying, tequila was my go-to. But I'm a smoker these days. I do like a good beer though. When I go to dinner, that's the kind of thing I like to have. Oh yeah, yeah. It's it's been an interesting night. But these are the kinds of nights that are good for the soul. You know what I'm saying? Relationship builders.
Ready to bring myself flat on the earth. Come to a chestnut.
You know, when you figure out,
Chestnuts are right.
or no, because we kind of figure things out. But like
2 days I wandered.
getting
remained
used to
north of the
people
direction
being
of the
people.
desolate world.
You know,
Finally, I noticed
individuals having their own
a small red squirrel in a beech tree.
hang-ups, proclivities, habits,
Stared back at me.
their peculiarities, you know, their particularities, you know, things that they need to have to be to exist and be comfortable at least a little bit.
Wreckage field beyond the charred ruin from Derry and Silo.
So
Being standing guard over the wasteland.
this is kind of that.
Certainly. Astride the silo perches a weathercock, the arrow. Points north. North. Next day I come to a city. City vaguely familiar in its contours, yet its buildings strangely dwarfed and leveled off.
Hooked her up with a Terrifier 2 poster and a crap load of stickers. She was, yeah. And I've got to go get some stuff tomorrow. Today, gotta go to Target. I gotta get a new comforter set for the bed, new pillowcases, sheets, and all that stuff. And get her a pillow, like one of those big armchair pillows. If I can't find it at Target, I'll order it. Because, you know, like people are comfortable in their own place. And that's one of my particulars, like, and in her too. We like to be comfortable and be in our own realms. And I'll be honest, she has more reason to want to, or to need to be in her own domain than I do. But this is my lair, you know. I'm like a dragon. This is where I need to go to roost. Like, and that's not always the case.
The enemy is now in sight above the Palisades. Five great speed.
We're learning to cohabitate with each other.
Crossing the
That's
river,
what
I
it is.
can see it here, waiting the huntsman like a man waiting for a fruit. A bullet in his hand at me. Martian cylinders are falling all over the country. One outside of Buffalo, one in Chicago.
And it's hard when two people have very independent.
Seem to be tied in space. Now the first 15 weeks in the store. Looking over the city. Feels how his head is even with a skyscraper. He waits for the others. Rise like a line of new towers on the city's west side. Now they're lifting their metal hands. This is the end now. Smoke comes out, black smoke drifting over the city. On the streets now. They're running toward the east river, thousands of them. Rustling like rats. Now the smoke's spreading faster. It reaches Times Square. People are trying to run away from it, but it's
I've got a lot of shit
shit.
going on with my end.
Falling like flies. Now there's smoke starting to Avenue. Fifth Avenue. 100 yards away. It's 50 feet.
I have to remember to cut the camera before I get up. Okay. So, the last time we were here, we went to this guy. And that was fun. But now, we need to go here, 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 and then we cross over and go here and take care of these spots. There's a lot, including that motherfucker right there. Fuck. But I have enough firepower now, and I have fogs. I think we should be okay.
The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells, starring Orson Welles and the Mercury Theater on the air.
Before. I gotta get Poplar's hood fixed. Okay. Oh, I'm not even wearing Poplar's. Oh, that's because I'm not wearing Poplar's.
If I set down these
Okay. Helmet, charisma +1, grad +8.
hiding in an empty house near Grover's Mill.
I would rather get the sneak.
Black smoke and
Yes, I know, it's got to be
all
Ripley.
that happened before the arrival of these monsters.
Welcome home, sir.
Life is continuity. Further existence of lonely derelict. Pencil these words on the back of some astronomical note bearing signature. Richard Pearson. Look down at my blackened hand. Try to connect them with the professor who lived in Princeton, who on the night of October 20th glimpsed through his telescope an orange splash of light on a distant planet. My wife, my colleagues, my students, focus. Observatory? My world. Where are they? Did they ever exist? Am I Richard Pearson?
Hi.
Oh, hey! Kinda busy here.
Okay. Oh, just I got a bunch of drugs in the game. Bunch of drugs in the game. Yeah. What's up? How you feeling, sweetheart? I'm on stream. And actually, one second, guys. I'm gonna go off camera for a second. You'll be warm and toasty in one. I know. You'll be warm and toasty in 1 second, sweetheart. I got you. Mm-hmm. All right. I'm back. Okay. Oh yeah. Gotta get rid of all of those. That's enough. Okay.
Good hunting. If you've got the caps, I've got...
Bueno.
Come back.
Ready to go, Mr. Fox? All right.
Next day I come to the city. City vaguely familiar in its contours, yet its buildings strangely dwarfed and leveled
So
off.
I just exchanged some hoodies and pillows for a very nice and toasty just out of the dryer blanket.
Here we undemolished but humbled by some whim of the advancing Martians. Presently, with an odd feeling of being watched, I caught sight of something crouching in a doorway. I stepped to it. Rose up,
Fort Constantine we go.
man armed with a large knife.
So we are going.
Many places. A long time ago.
You know, we can go up and get the tunnel. I think it's up
Grover's
there.
Mill.
Yes.
Grover's Mill. There's no food here. This is my country. All this end of town down the river. There's only food for one. Which way you going?
I don't know. I guess I'm looking. People.
What was that? Ooh, isn't
I love the greenish tinge to the armor. These are these are all outfits.
Live bird.
Get to know the birds that shot
Where? Where are Martians? I don't see any Martians. That's the other place we're going. Look at that motherfucking rad scorpion.
Daylight can't see. 5 days ago, a couple of them carried something big across the flat from the air. I think they're learning how to fly.
We must walk softly.
Yeah, fly.
And it's all over with humanity. Stranger, it's still you and I. Two of them left.
Got themselves in trouble. They wrecked the greatest country in the
Those are
world.
slaves.
Those green stars, they're probably falling somewhere every night.
Read them?
They've only lost
Oh, is this to the pit?
There isn't anything to do. We're done. We're licked.
Where were you? You're in a uniform.
Okay.
I was in the religion next. There wasn't any war. Any more than there's war.
Yes, we're east of the land. I found that out.
I ain't got no interest in making the do yet.
I thought it all out. Right now, we're caught as we're wanted. Martian only has to go a few miles to get a crowd on the run. They won't keep on doing that. They'll begin catching us systematically, keeping the best, storing us in cages. But they haven't begun on it. They haven't begun. All that's happened so far is because we don't have sense enough to keep quiet. Bothering them with guns and such stuff and losing our heads and rushing off the crowd.
There is safety
Rushing around
in
trying to fix
mindfulness.
ourselves up according to the way things are now. Cities, nations, civilization, progress.
Yes, but if that's so, what's there to live for?
Concerts, shows, dinners at restaurants. If it's amusement you're after, I guess.
What is there left?
Life, that's right. I want to live. Yeah, so do you. We're not going to be exterminated. I don't mean to be caught either. Paying.
I love this assault rifle. It is a Bueno.
We don't know enough. We gotta learn plenty.
Oh, closer. Yeah, we're very close to
We
the
gotta
edge.
live and keep free what we learn, see? Thought it all out, see?
To the risk.
Now it isn't all. A wild beast. That's what it gotta be. It's gotta be. That's why I watch it. Watch it too. All those little walkers used to live in these houses. They be no good. They haven't any stuff. Run off to work. I've seen hundreds of them running to catch their community train in the morning. Great that you can if it's running back at night. Afraid they wouldn't be in
Oh my god. Oh my. Well,
a little invested in case of accident.
are you?
Now you wait. I'm
Oh.
going back.
Where the? Okay. All right. We're nowhere near. Okay. All right. Okay.
Meantime, you and I and others like us, where are we to live? The Martians on the Earth.
Oh. What?
Live underground. I've been thinking about the sewers. Under New York are miles and miles of the main one.
What do you mean I can't go there? Go that way?
Oh, underground storage, railway tunnels, subways.
Right. It's the edge of the map.
No, that rubbish. Out.
As you meant me. Won't spoil nothing. Go on.
We also need to track down the alien spacecraft. That's not Mothership Zeta, but the alien spacecraft that's
That's where men like you come in.
probably landed somewhere
Even spy on the
fucking.
Martians. So much we have to learn.
I'm sorry. What?
Just imagine. 4 or 5 of their own hiding machines suddenly start off. Decoys right and left. Not a Martian in them. Not a Martian in them, see? But men. Men who've learned the way how.
maybe in our time. Gee, imagine having one of them lovely things with a heat ray wide and free. We'd turn it on Martians, we'd turn it on men. We'd bring everybody down on their knees.
Is that?
That's your plan.
We don't know world.
I see.
Hey. There you go.
Not to your world. Bye, stranger. Well, after parting with the artilleryman, I came at last to the Holland Tunnel, entered that silent fuel. Anxious to know the fate of the great city on the other side of the Hudson. Cautiously, I came out of the tunnel and made my way up
There
Canal
he is.
Street. Reached 14th Street there again. Black powder, several bodies, an evil, ominous smell from the gratings of cellars and the houses. Stood alone on Times Square. Caught sight of a lean dog running down 7th Avenue.
What basin of hell are we in now?
Starving monster. Made a wide circle
Okay,
around me,
so we need-
feared I might be.
I love this machine gun.
Playing new wares, empty sidewalks.
There are many machine guns, but this one is motherfucking mine.
That's the shooting gallery where a row of empty guns is. I noticed models of 1939 motor cars in the showroom facing into the street.
Oh! Oh, fuck you, dude. Hold on. Hold on.
Hurried on. Suddenly I caught sight of the foot of a Martian machine. Standing somewhere
Oh! Yeah. You know what? Peace.
I climbed a small hill above the wall. From there I could see standing in a silent row along the mall 19 of those great metal titans, their cowls empty, their steel arms.
Let's do some remote
hanging
fishing.
listlessly by their sides. I looked in vain for the monsters that inhabit those machines. Suddenly my eyes were attracted to the great flock of black birds that hovered directly below me. They circled to the ground. And there before my eyes, dark and silent, lay the mark of a hungry bird, tearing brown thread of flesh. Dead bodies. Later, when their bodies were examined in laboratories, it was found that they were killed by the putrefactive and disease bacteria against which their systems were unprepared. Slain, after all, man.
It's weird. I don't quite remember.
Now we see further. Dim and wonderful vision I conjured up in my mind of life spreading slowly from this little seedbed of the solar system throughout the inanimate vastnesses of sidereal space. Remote dream. Maybe that the destruction of the Martians is only a reprieve to them and not to us.
That solar flare was nasty.
Super and dangerous. Strange now seems to sit in my peaceful
Oh,
place.
the sun flare from the camera.
Last chapter of the record. Gun that far grew dead.
Why would
My strange
What the hell?
strange to see young people strolling on the green while the new spring grass heals the last black stars.
These are
The Martian machine I kept in public view. Strange when I recall the time when I first saw it.
I'll try to be. I'll try to be more quiet.
Clean cut,
I'll try to be more quiet.
silent. Under the dawn of that day.
What's up?
This is Orson Welles,
So
ladies
I
and
think I
gentlemen.
saw that here.
Out of character to assure you that the War of the World has no further significance than as the holiday offering it was intended to be. Mercury Theater's own radio version of dressing up in a sheet and jumping out of a bush and saying boo. Starting now, we couldn't soak all your windows, seal all your garden gates. By tomorrow night, so we did the best next thing. We annihilated the world before your very ears and utterly destroyed the CBS. You'll be relieved, I hope, to learn that we didn't mean it, and that both institutions are still open for business. So goodbye, everybody, and remember, please, for the next day or so, the terrible lesson you learned tonight. That grinning, glowing,
There is safety
in your living room is an inhabitant of the hunger pack, and if your doorbell rings and nobody's there, that was no Martian. It's Halloween.
Tonight, the Columbia Broadcasting System and its affiliated stations coast to coast has brought you The War of the World by H.G. Wells, the 17th in its weekly series of dramatic broadcasts featuring Orson Welles and the Mercury Theater on the air. Next week, we present a dramatization of 3 famous short stories. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System. Present Orson Welles and the Mercury Theater on the air. The War of the World by H.G. Wells. Ladies and gentlemen, the director of the Mercury Theater and star of these broadcasts, Orson Welles.
In the early years of the 20th century.
Grim Reaper's Sprints. Oh, you missed it. There we go. Shit.
Too easy.
Assurance of their dominion over this small, spinning fragment of solar driftwood, which by chance or design, man has inherited out of the dark mystery of time and space. Yet across an immense ethereal gulf, minds that are Dwa minds,
Clacker, clacker, clacker.
ours as the beasts of the jungle, intellect, vast, cool, and unsympathetic, regarded this earth with envious eyes, slowly and surely
Thank
through
you
their
for the
plans
caps.
against
Don't care
in the
about your
39th
missiles,
year of the 20th century came the Great Dissolution.
but I'll take your missiles.
At the end
Missiles
of
sell
October,
just like everything else.
business was better. War scare was over. All men were back at work. Sales were picking up. This particular evening, October 30th, the Crosley service estimated that 32 million people were listening in on radio. Not much change in temperature. A slight atmospheric disturbance of undetermined origin is reported over Nova Scotia, causing a low-pressure area to move down rather rapidly over
bet
the
this was like
northeastern
a-
states, bringing a forecast of rain.
Raider.
What have you got on your mind? Enough.
This weather report comes to you from the government weather bureau.
Something.
Stop.
Enough.
Where you will be entertained by the music of Raymond Raquello and his orchestra.
That was a good pick. I don't generally use chems, only if like there's a really bad firefight going down. But they make for good profit. Merlin, if you're looking for a good way to make money, chems. In fact, oh, there are enemies nearby. Oh, of course there is. We can wait.
The spectroscope indicates the gas to be hydrogen and moving toward the Earth with enormous velocity. Professor Pearson of the observatory at Princeton confirms Farrell's observation and describes the phenomenon as, quote, like a jet of blue flame shot from a gun, unquote. We now return you to the music of Ramon Raquello playing for you in the Meridian Room of the Park Plaza Hotel situated in
In
downtown
all
New York.
things, a calm heart must prevail. We must walk
And
slow.
now a tune that never loses pace. The
There's crab
Everlasting
claw in
Burning
there.
Stardust. Raymond Raquello is the host.
Water looks really. Oh my.
Given in our bulletin a moment ago,
Let's do this. Mirelurks are fun. Generally, Mirelurks are fun. The kings, I'm not too fond of. But that's because they got that mental attack. What was that? Is that a...
Concerned about the safety.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Carl Phillips speaking to you from the observatory at Princeton.
It's unfortunate because I don't think there's any rebreathers in this game,
This opening, I can see a sprinkling
so they can go down. But there's not a whole bunch here.
platform carries with it giant legs. As you can take it, ladies and gentlemen, when the end is ready, the may arise during our interview. Now, you see the watch of heaven, let the tears
There is
by
safety
telephone or
in mindfulness.
during this period, he is in constant touch with the astronomical.
I'm surprised there isn't more like
Professor, may I see
loot
you in our presence?
around here.
At any time, of course.
Professor, would you please tell our radio audience exactly what you see as you observe the planet Mars through your telescope?
Nothing unusual at the moment, Philip. A red disk swimming in the blue sea. Transverse stripes across the disk. Quite distinct now because Mars happens to be at the point nearest the Earth in opposition, as we call it.
In your opinion, what do these transverse stripes signify,
Close.
Professor?
Not canals, I can assure you, Mr.
How
Phillips.
close am I to myself
Although
to that
that's
sack?
popular conjecture of those who imagine Mars to be inhabited.
I really passed that
From a
motherfucker up,
scientific
didn't
viewpoint,
I?
the stripes are merely the result of atmospheric conditions peculiar to the planet.
Then you're quite convinced as a scientist that living
There's
intelligence as
a
we know it
lot
does not
of
exist
fucking
on Mars.
vultures around that area.
There's a chances against it are 1,000 to 1.
And yet, how do you account for these gases?
I'm
floating
right,
on the surface of the
Debs.
planet?
Probably closer to
Well, I cannot account for it.
But by the way, Professor,
this.
for the benefit of our listeners,
Fuck it.
how far is Mars from the Earth?
Approximately 40 million miles.
Well, that seems to take that
That's
distance.
the one. That's the,
Now,
oh,
just a moment,
there more? Oh, that's the other one. Yes.
Let me remind you that we are speaking to you.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of these to do.
Well, we are interviewing the world famous astronomer, Professor Pitt. One moment, please. A message which you have just received.
What? Oh. Damn, there's another one over there. Motherfuckers are infested over here. I mean, yeah, there's bunches everywhere, so I guess.
Unusual size and arrival at this particular time is merely a coincidence.
We gotta go up there.
However, we should conduct
There is
research
reason
in the
to
daylight.
be cautious.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the past 10 minutes, we've been speaking to you from the observatory of Britain, bringing you a special interview with Professor Pearson, Close Astronomer. This is Carl Phillips speaking. We are returning you now to our New York
Tricked
city.
me. Oh my god. Alright. Better in non. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, Deathclaw. Man, am I tasting now. Deathclaws have pretty fucking thick skin. Oh, you motherfucker. Ooh, schematic. Ooh, Dean's Electronics.
Ladies and gentlemen, Carl Phillips again, out of the Wilmot Farm.
I'll take that.
Professor Pitt, myself made the 11 miles of
Greetings, fellow survivor. Another fine day in the wastes, isn't it? Why shouldn't I be? I've got food, I've got shelter, and I know humanity is on the rise again. Haven't you heard the good news? Haven't you read the Wasteland Survival Guide? Glory be! You're the great survivor! Bless you. Oh, bless you for sharing your wisdom with mankind. You've given us all a chance to hope again. Yes, it teaches us how to live and how to return to the paradise that was. Truly, it is our guide through this wasted land. Please, take these as my thanks. So many of us owe our lives to your great work. Bless you.
First time I've ever been paid. I mean, they've given me stuff, but payment? Nice. Alright, so we have secured that one. We need to go that way, or we should go. Nah, you know what? I could just skirt this way and go back that way. Nah, that shit's gonna bother me.
reckon I was kind of riled. Thank you, Mr. Wilbur. Thank you very much. No, that's quite all right. That's
That's,
plenty. Ladies
oh
and
yeah,
gentlemen,
that's the top. This is
Wilbur owner of the farm,
that's the
I
exit
would
down
like to
from
say
Raven
that
Rock.
there, the background of this fantastic scene. Hundreds of cars that parked in a field back in the fleet that trying to walk the roadway leading into the farm, but it's no use. Breaking right through. Hard headlights throw an enormous spotlight on the pit where the object has buried. Now, some of the more daring souls now are venturing near the edge. The cigarettes stand out against the metal shield.
Careful not to fall through the motherfucking terrain.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, there's something I haven't mentioned.
that.
always,
Look at that.
but
Look at that.
becoming more distinct. Perhaps if you've caught it already on your way. Listen, please. Do you hear it? Curious humming sound seems to come from inside the object. I'll move the microphone nearer. Here. Now, we're not more than 25 feet away.
There are
Can you hear it
times
now? Professor
the
Pearson,
primal part
can you hear
pulling me away.
breaking noise inside space?
The only way you're getting pulled is up this way.
Metal case is definitely extraterrestrial. Not found on this Earth. Friction with the Earth's atmosphere usually tears holes in meteorites. Oh. Steve,
Something's happening. Ladies and gentlemen, this is terrific. This end of the thing is beginning to plate off. Top is beginning to rotate like a screw and the thing must be hollow.
We must walk softly.
Yeah, I see him. I see him fall.
Someone calling someone or something. I see staring out of that black hole through a luminous disc. The eyes might be a face, might be all of it. But heavens, something wriggling out of the shadow like a great snake. Now it's another one and another one and another one. They look like tentacles to me. I can see the thing's body now. It's large. Large as a bear.
They both got fucking
Crystals
rocked.
like wet leather, but it's fake. Ladies and gentlemen, it's indescribable. I can hardly support myself. Keep looking at it. It's awful. The eyes are black and lean like a serpent. The mouth is kind of V-shaped. It's alive. It's dripping from its rimless lips. It seems to quiver, pulsate. The monster, or whatever it is, can hardly move.
There you are!
You motherfucker.
Too far.
Very nice.
What's happening on the Wilbur Farm, Groversville, New Jersey.
I don't really use the rifles. So
We now return you to Carl Phillips at Groversville.
Ladies and gentlemen, my honor. Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, here I am, back to Stonewall.
oh, the immediate reinforcements.
As long as I can talk, as long as I can see. More state police have arrived and drawing up a cordon in front of the pit. Object is certain. No need to push the car back now. They're willing to keep their distance. Captain conferring with someone. Can't quite see who. I believe it's Professor Pearson. Yes, it is. Now they've parted, and the professor moves around one side, studying the object while the captain is moving to advance with something in their hand. I can see it now. It's a white handkerchief tied to a pole. Right, it's true.
Heard a
Those
fucking
creatures know what that
I'm
means.
here.
But anything
At your
means.
heard
back.
a chopper.
Wait a minute, something happening. Something shaking.
Or a vertebrate, I should say.
They make out a small beam of light against a mirror. What's that? Get the flame springs in the mirror and a big flood of the advancing men. It strikes them head on. Lords are turning into flames. I see it by the woods of the bars. The gas tanks, the automobiles spreading everywhere. Coming this way now. About 20 yards to my right.
Ladies and gentlemen, due to circumstances beyond our control, we are unable to continue the broadcast from Groversville. Evidently, there's some difficulty with our field a late bulletin from San Diego, California. Professor Indelkopper, speaking at a dinner of the California Astronomical Society, expressed the opinion that the explosions on Mars are undoubtedly
Is that Talon Company? Oh, okay.
on the surface of the planet. We continue now with our piano interval.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've just been handed a message that came in from Grover's Mill by telephone. Just one moment, please. At least 40 people, including 6 state troopers. Distorted beyond all possible recognition. The next voice you hear will be that of Brigadier General Montgomery Smith, commander of the state militia at Trenton, New Jersey.
I have been requested by the governor of New Jersey to place the counties of Mercer and Middlesex as far west as Princeton and east to Jamesburg under martial law. No one will be permitted to enter this area except by a special pass issued by state or military authority. 4 companies of state militia are proceeding from Trenton to Grover's Mill and will aid in the evacuation of homes within the range of military operations. Thank you.
You have just been listening to General Montgomery Smith, commanding the state militia at Trenton. In the meantime, further details of the catastrophe at Grover's Mill are coming in. The brave creatures, after unleashing their deadly assault, crawled back in their pit and made no attempt to prevent the efforts of the firemen to recover the bodies and extinguish the fire.
Oh, God damn it.
We have been unable to establish any contact with our mobile unit at Grover's Mill. In the meantime, we take you to... Just one moment, please. Ladies and gentlemen, I have just been informed that we have finally established...
Alrighty.
Eyewitness to the tragedy. Professor Pearson has been located at a farmhouse near Grover's Mill, where he is established an emergency observation post. As a scientist, he will give you his explanation of the calamity.
The Morse goes around.
Who's there?
Brought to you by the
Color
Red
family
Flag.
tapes. Yeah.
I'm trying hard from...
Grab something more suitable.
This!
Why were you shooting at her? Why are you shooting? Fox.
Thank you, Professor Pearson. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the bulletin.
Nothing says equality like a fistful of caps. I think these Talon Company mercs are about the most cordial smoothies I've met, as long as their boss is getting paid. Luckily, money's no issue. I've hoarded plenty of it up since before the guy's parents were I've hoarded plenty of it up since before these guys' parents were knee-high on a Brahmin. Of course, if I succeed in this, it won't matter how many caps any of these rad bastards have. Thanks to a little creative wiring, I was able to tap us into a power source. They're less common up here, but if you know where to look, there are still plenty of live power lines buried all over the wasteland. For all their arrogance, they knew a thing or two about engineering before the bombs. I have to admit, it's remarkable that there's still power to be had after all these years. Now that we've got all the power we want, I can bring our defensive turrets online and trying to get the dish loaders operational. Finally got to begin on my work in earnest today. Dish motivators are offline, but I was able to input some basic coordinates and ping nearby SATCOM arrays to the southwest and east. There was some interference pinging the NN03D array. Probably rad roaches or something making a nest in the dishes. It may be worth sending one or two of the mercs over there to clean it out in case I can use those towers to amplify my own signal. There were dozens of military satellites in orbit just from the old records I found in the ruins. There must have been hundreds before the war. I could just find a few of those operational platforms. First attempts at atmospheric pinging returned negative. Considering that the motivators are still non-functional, it's going to be difficult to catch much of anything that doesn't pass directly over us. Still, I can't rule out other mechanical failures. I haven't got much astronomical reference material with me, but maybe I can find an old chart and wait until a celestial body passes over to confirm signal. Of course, that may take years. I'll have to keep working on the motivators. Uncle Owen, this droid's got a bad motivator. What a lucky break. I pinged an orbital body successfully today. Registration ID is USDOD 21TXH, call sign High Water Trouser. Oh, that sounds familiar. I'll begin tracking it and cross-reference the registration information with the data I've got. I think that was a weapons platform in space. Turns out I don't have specific data on my satellite, but the registration format suggests that it's a stationary micronuclear weapons platform. Tracking data appears to confirm this. The thing hasn't moved in the week I've been tracking it. Without a targeting platform at my disposal, sending an activation code would only cause it to drop a payload directly on top of this area. Not exactly what I'm aiming for. I'll keep the codes handy just in case.
Hello? Someone there? I can hear. Hear you.
comes up here?
Existence of lonely derelict. Pencils these words on the back of some astronomical note very premature. Richard Pearson. Looked out at my flashing hand.
Oh,
I'd have connected them with a professor who lives in Princeton who on the night of October 20th flipped through his telescope an orange flash of light on a distant planet. My wife, my colleague, students, books, observatory, my world. Where are they? Did they ever exist? Am I Richard? Dave.
I win again!
you certainly do, good sir. Certainly do.
Right, that's live.
I'm not entirely sure what you were doing up here with that, sir.
Motor bread in the kitchen. Orange. Boiled and swallowed. Keep watching the window. Time to time I catch sight of the Martian above the black smoke. Smoke still holds the house in its black coil, but makes this hissing sound. And suddenly I see a Martian mounted on his machine, spraying the air with a jet of steam as it dissipates the smoke. I'm watching the corner as his huge metal legs.
So that's where we're going.
Exhausted by
Back
terror, I
across
fell
the
asleep.
phone. You know what? We're gonna go right here.
Morning. Sunscreen. Black cloud of gas is lifted and scorched meadows to the north look as though a black snowstorm. I ventured from the house to make my way to a road in traffic. There's a wrecked car, baggage overturned, plastic skeleton. Push on north. For some reason I feel safer trailing these mountains than running away from them. And I keep a careful watch. I've seen the Martians. If one of their machines zeroes the top of the trees, I'm ready to fling myself flat on the earth. Come to a chestnut. That's a rat. In my pocket. 2 days I wandered in a vague northerly direction through a desolate world. Finally, I noticed a living creature. A small red squirrel in a beech tree. I stared at him at once. He stared back at me. I believe at that moment the animal and I shared the same emotion. Joy at finding another living being. Push on north. I find dead cows in a brackish field and beyond the charred ruins of a dairy and silo. Ain't standing guard over the wasteland like a lighthouse. Deserted, but stride the silo, perches a weathercock, the arrow points north. North. Next day I come to a city. City vaguely familiar in its contours, yet its buildings strangely dwarfed and leveled off as if a giant had sliced off its highest towers with a capricious sweep of his head.
I'm speaking from the roof of Broadcasting Building. Speaking from the roof of Broadcasting Building, New York City. The elves here are bringing warned people to evacuate the city as Martian approach. Estimated in the last 2 hours, 3 million people have moved out along the road.
Well,
Long Island, hopelessly jammed. All communication with Jersey Shore closed 10 minutes ago. No more defense. Maybe the
line of new towers on the city's west side. Now they're lifting their metal hands. This is the end now. Smoke comes out, black smoke drifting over the city. People in the streets see it now. They're running toward the East River, thousands of them. Dropping in like rats. Now the smoke's spreading faster. It meets Times Square. People are trying to run away from it, but it's no use. They're falling like flies.
There we go. I'll be right back.
Now they
I'm gonna go and
6th Avenue. 5th Avenue. 100 yards away. It's 50 feet.
Our steps must be measured.
Listening to a CBS presentation of Orson Welles and the Mercury Theatre on the Air, an original dramatization of The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. Performance will continue after a brief intermission. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System. The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells, starring Orson Welles and the Mercury Theatre on the Air.
I'm obsessed by the thought that I may be the last living man on Earth. Been hiding in this empty house near Grover's Mill. A small island of daylight cut off by the black smoke of the rest of the world. All that happened before the arrival of these monstrous creatures in the world now seems part of another life. Life that has no continuity with the present. But his existence, the lonely dereliction.
there's probably some significance to
astronomical note Richard Kiss. Look down at my blackened hand.
what's the WRA?
Try to connect them with a professor who lives in Princeton and who on the night of October 20th glimpsed through his telescope an orange flash of light on a distant planet. My wife, my colleagues, my students, books, conservatory, my world.
Oh, it was an internment camp.
Did they ever exist? Am I Richard Pierce? What day is it?
The camp was intended for Chinese Americans, and the Chinese set up under Executive Order 99066.
Writing down my daily life, I tell myself I shall preserve human history between the dark cover of this little book meant to record the movement of the stars. Write and live on deep. Find moldy bread in the kitchen, orange nuts, boiled, swallowed. Keep watching, wait. Time to time I catch sight of a Martian above the black smoke. Smoke still holds the house in its black coil, but length is drifting down. And suddenly I see a Martian mounted on his machine, spraying the air with a jet of steam as it dissipates smoke. I'm watching the corner as his huge metal legs nearly brush against the house. Exhausted by terror, I fall asleep.
I'm not sure if I've ever walked
Ready to
this.
bring myself flat on the earth. Come to a chest up. Yes, but you're right.
Hello, Mr. Radscorpion. Ow.
I believe at that moment the animal and I shared the same emotion. Joy of finding another living being. Just one thought. Undead cows in a brackish field beyond the charred ruins of a dairy silo. They stand guard over the wasteland like a lighthouse. Deserted, but weathercock the arrow points north. North. Next day I come to a city. City vaguely familiar in its contours, yet its buildings strangely dwarfed and leveled off as if undemolished but humbled by some whim of the advancing Martians. Presently, with an odd feeling of being watched, I caught sight of something crouching in a doorway. I stepped toward it. Rose up and became a
We find out they killed the traitor.
man armed with a large knife. Where'd it come from?
So while you're looking, I will loot the fuck out of
A
your
long time ago from Princeton.
ammo crates.
Here goes
Got,
milk.
got no use for those.
Goes milk.
Sell those.
There's no food here.
So,
This is my
rotting
country. Always
brown
send it down the
corpse,
river.
wastelander, fools,
I don't know.
wastelander.
I guess I'm looking. People.
What's that? Do we hear something just then?
No. No bird.
Hey, we're in the open. Well, in the smoke.
Have you seen any Martians?
We're going over to New York. Night, lives, their lights. People are still living.
I wonder if where are we at?
5 days ago, a couple of them carried something big across the tracks from the airport. I think they're learning how to fly.
Fly.
Yeah, fly.
That's all over with humanity. Stranger, it's still you and I. Two of us left.
They got themselves in trouble. They wrecked the greatest country in the world. Those green stars, they're probably falling somewhere every night. They've only lost one machine. Everything.
Probably a 95, 395, something like
Where were
that.
you? You're in a uniform.
I was in the militia, National Guard. There wasn't any war, any more than there's war between men and ants.
Yes, but we're eatable ants. We found that out. What do they do to us?
I felt it all out. Right now, we're close to one.
Whoopsie doodle.
Martian only has to go a few miles to get a crowd on the run. They won't keep on doing that. They'll be detecting it systematic, keeping the best, storing it in tape. They haven't begun on it yet. Not begun. All that's happened so far is because we don't have sense enough to keep
There is
quiet.
reason to be
Bothering with guns
cautious.
and such stuff and losing our heads and rushing off the crowd.
I know.
Instead of rushing around blind, we gotta fix ourselves up according to the way things are now. Cities, nations, civilization, progress.
Yes, but if that's so, what is there to live
Abandoned
for?
car
There
fort.
won't be any more conscience. Years or so, and the dinners, the rest.
Bangarang. Ooh.
If it's amusement you're after, I guess it's done.
What is there left?
Life, that's right. I want to live.
Cherry bomb.
Yes. We're not going to be exterminated. I don't want to be caught. Tamed, fat, bred like an ox. What's going on? Right in. what it gotta be. That's why I watched you. All those walkers that used to live in these houses, they be no good. They haven't any stuff in them. Run off to work. I've seen hundreds of them running to catch their commuter's train in the morning. Afraid that you can if they didn't. Running back at night. Afraid there wouldn't be any time for dinner. Lies, sure, and a little invested in case of accident. Yeah, and worried about their ass.
Y'all are only rocking 10mm rounds this far into the fucking DC wasteland.
Careful breathing, no worries. After a week or so of chasing around the field on empty stomachs, they'll come and be glad to be.
Thought it all out, actually.
Better. That is these Martians are gonna make pets of them. Train them to do tricks. Who knows, get sentimental over the pet boy who grew up and had to be killed. Yeah. Some maybe. They'll train to hunt us. Yes, they will. There's men who do it flat. Me, like.
In the meantime, you and I and others like you, where are we to live? The Martians own the Earth.
Live on the ground. They think about the sewers. Under New York, they're miles and miles up. The main ones, they're big enough for anything. And there's some walls. Underground storage, railway tunnels, subways.
As you met me.
You a chance.
Won't quarrel about that.
Too far.
Will even spy on the market. May not be so much we have to learn before. Just imagine this. 4 or 5 of their own fighting machines suddenly start off. Heat rays right and left.
Poor
Not a
bastard.
Martian in them. Not a Martian in them, see? But men. Men who've learned the way how. Maybe in our time. Gee. Imagine having one of them lovely things.
That
heat
was-
ray ride.
That was scary.
We turn it on Martians. We turn it on men. We bring everybody down on their knees.
That's your plan.
We don't know where.
I see.
Hey.
Not to your world. Fine, stranger. Well, after parting with the artilleryman, I came back to the Holland Tunnel and entered that silent duel. Anxious to know the fate of the great
What's
city
up,
on the
Fox?
other side of the Hudson. Cautiously, I came out of the tunnel and made my way up the canal. Reached 14th Street and again. Black powder, several bodies, an evil, ominous smell from the gratings of the cellars of the houses. Wandered up through the 30s and 40s. Stood alone on Times Square. Caught sight of a lean dog running down 7th Avenue. Dark brown meat door. Packed of starving monsters. Made a wide circle around it so each year I might grow fresh and tender. Walked up Broadway in the direction of that strange public, that silent shoplifters, displaying their new wares against the sidewalks. Past the Capitol Theater, silent, dark. Past the shooting gallery where a row of empty guns faces a rested line of wooden ducks near Columbus Circle. I noticed models of 1939 motor cars in the showrooms facing empty streets. Over the top of the General Motors building, I watched a flock of black birds circling the sky. Hurried on. Suddenly, I caught sight of the hood of a Martian machine, standing somewhere in Central Park, gleaming in the late afternoon sun. Same idea. I rushed breathlessly across Columbus Circle and into the park. I climbed a small hill above the pond at 60th Street. From there, I 19 of those great metal titans, their cowls empty, their...
have time to get out of bed. Motherfuckers got caught lacking.
Wonderful vision I've conjured up in my mind of life spreading slowly from this little seedbed of the solar system throughout the inanimate vastnesses of sidereal space.
Oh,
Remote
your
dreams.
drones.
Maybe that the destruction of the Martians is only a reprieve to them and not to us.
Very, very, very
Good
nice.
ingress. Strange it now seems to sit in my peaceful study, writing down this.
Okay, so
That's
that's
strange to watch. Strange to see young people strolling on the green by the new spring grass heals the last black stars. Strange to watch the sightseers enter the museum where the disassembled parts of a Martian machine are kept for public view. Strange when I recall the time when I first saw it. Right.
that's where. Oh, these guys are cannibals. Wonderful.
This is Orson Welles, ladies and gentlemen. Out of character to assure you that the War of the Worlds has no further significance than as the holiday offering it was intended to be. The Mercury Theater's own radio version of dressing up in a sheet and jumping out of a bush and saying boo.
Where are you
Starting
going?
now, we couldn't soap all your windows and seal all your garden gates. By tomorrow night, so we did the best in space. We annihilated the world before your very ears and utterly destroyed the CBS. You'll be relieved, I hope, to learn that we did what needed, and that both institutions are still open for business. So goodbye, everybody, and remember, please, for the next day or so, the terrible lesson you learned tonight. That grinning, glowing, globular invader of your living room is an inhabitant of the pumpkin patch, and if your doorbell rings and nobody's
Partial
there,
CB radio backup.
that was no Martian. It's Halloween.
Tonight, the Columbia broadcast
Come again. Any truckers on this wave?
has brought you The War of the World by H.G. Wells, the 17th in its weekly series of dramatic broadcasts featuring Orson Welles and the Mercury Theater on the air.
1 second. I gotta go to the bathroom.
Today, a short time ago, with Governor Gavin Newsom at the
present a dramatization of three famous short stories. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System. Columbia Broadcasting System and its affiliated stations present Orson Welles and the Emergency Theater on the Air in The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. Ladies and gentlemen, the director of the Mercury Theater and star of these broadcasts, Orson Welles.
We know now that in the early years of the 20th century, this world was being watched closely by intelligences greater than man, yet as mortal as soul. We know now that as human beings busied themselves about their various concerns, they were scrutinized and studied, perhaps almost as narrowly as a man with a microscope might scrutinize the transient creatures who swarm and multiply in a drop of water. With infinite complacency, people went to and fro over the earth about their little affairs, serene in the assurance of their dominion over this small, spinning fragment of solar driftwood, which by chance or design, man has inherited out of the dark mystery of time and space. Powers of the beasts of the jungle, intellect, vast.
Why am I getting rocked by your fucking... That's actually, like, that's why it's not fucking doing its job anymore, because that shit needs to be repaired, like, right now. So, we're gonna switch.
We take you now to the Mercury Room in the Hotel Park Plaza in downtown New York, where you will be entertained by the music of Raymond Raquello and his orchestra.
I didn't shoot you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. From the Meridian Room in the Park Plaza Hotel in New York City, we bring you the music of Raymond Raquello and his orchestra. The Duchess of Spanish, Raymond Raquello leads off with La Concertina.
Woo.
Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt our program of dance music to bring you a special bulletin from the Intercontinental Radio. At 20 minutes before 8 Central Time, the Justice Panel of the Mount Jennings Observatory, Chicago, Illinois, reports observing several explosions of incandescent
quantum, I
gas
should say.
occurring at regular intervals on the planet Mars. The spectroscope indicates the gas to be hydrogen and moving toward the Earth with enormous velocity. Professor Pearson of the observatory at Princeton confirms Farrell's observations
Damn,
and
sweetheart, I'm
describes the
sorry.
phenomenon as, quote, like a jet of blue flame shot from a gun, unquote. We now return to the music of Raymond Raquello, playing for you in the Meridian Room of the Park Plaza Hotel, situated in downtown New York. unusual nature of this occurrence, we have arranged an interview with the noted astronomer, Professor Pearson, who will give us his views on this event. In a few moments, we will take you to the Princeton Observatory at Princeton, New Jersey. We return you until then, the music of Ramon Racello and his orchestra. We are ready now to take you to the Princeton Observatory at Princeton, where Carl Phillips, our commentator, will interview Professor Richard Pearson, famous astronomer. We take you now to Princeton, New Jersey.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Carl Phillips speaking to you from the Observatory of Princeton.
Oh, so y'all managed to do that, but not much else.
Would you please tell our radio audience exactly what you see as you observe the planet Mars through your telescope?
Nothing unusual at the moment, Mr. Phillips. Red disc swimming in the blue sea. Good stripes across the disc.
Oh, they literally rated them for everything and still had nothing.
In opposition, as we call it.
In your opinion, ladies and gentlemen, I should read you a wire addressed to Professor Pearson from Dr. Gray of the Natural History Museum, New York. Quote, 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Seismograph registered shock of almost earthquake intensity occurring within a radius of 20 miles of Princeton. Please investigate. Signed Lloyd Gray, Chief of Astronomical Division. Unquote. Professor Pearson, could this occurrence possibly have something to do with the disturbances observed on the planet Mars?
Hardly, Mr. Phillips. It's probably a meteorite of unusual size. Its arrival at this particular time is merely a coincidence. However, we shall conduct a search as soon as daylight permits.
Thank you, Professor. Ladies and gentlemen, for the past 10 minutes, we've been speaking to you from the Observatory of Princeton, bringing you a special interview with Professor Pearson, noted astronomer. This is Carl Phillips speaking. We are returning you now to our New York city.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the latest bulletin from the Intercontinental Radio News. Toronto, Canada. Professor Morse of McMillan University reports observing a total of 3 explosions on the planet Mars between the hours of 7:45 p.m. and 9:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This confirms earlier reports received from American observatories. Now, nearer home, comes a special bulletin from Trenton, New Jersey. It is reported that at 8:50 p.m. a huge flaming object, believed to be a meteorite, fell on a farm in the neighborhood of Grover's Mill, New Jersey, 22 miles from Trenton. The flash in the sky was visible within a radius of several hundred miles. The noise of the impact was heard as far north as...
I'm gonna go.
We have dispatched a special
Yeah, I've
mobile
still
unit to
got
the
a
scene.
few
We'll
of
have
them.
our commentator, Carl Phillips, give you a word picture of the scene as soon as it can reach there from Princeton. In the meantime, we take you to the Hotel Martinet in Brooklyn, where Bobby Millett and his orchestra are offering a program of dance music. Thank you now to Grover's Mill University.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Carl Phillips again, out of the Grover's Farm, Nova Scotia Research. Professor Pearson and myself made the 11 miles distance from the... Well, I hardly know where to begin. Painfully, your word picture of a strange scene before my eyes, but nothing out of the modern Arabian Nights. Well, I just got here. I haven't had a chance to look around yet. I guess that's it. Yes, I guess that's the thing directly in front of me. Half buried in a vast pit. Such a terrific force. The ground is covered with splinters and debris. It's stuck on its way down. But I can see its object itself doesn't look very much like a meteor. At least not the meteors I've seen. It looks more like a huge cylinder. Has a diameter of, what would you say, Professor Pearson?
What's that?
What would you say, what's the diameter of the...
About 30 yards.
About 30 yards. The metal on the sheet is, well, I've never seen anything like it. The color is sort of yellowish white. Curious spectators now are pressing close to the object and slightly up the please to keep it back. Getting in front of my line of figures. Would you mind standing one side, please? While the police pushing the crowd back. Here's Mr. Wilmot, owner of the farm. He may have some interesting facts to add. Mr. Wilmot, would you please tell the radio audience as much as you remember of this rather unusual visitor that dropped in your backyard? Step closer, please. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Wilmot.
I was listening to the radio.
Louder.
Pardon me?
Louder, please.
I was listening to the radio and kind of drowsy. The professor fellow was talking about Mars. So I was half dozing.
Yes, Mr. Wilmot, and then what happened?
Well, as I was saying, I was listening to the radio, kind of halfway.
Yes, Mr. Wilmot, and then you saw them.
Not first off, I heard something.
And what did you hear?
Hissing sound like this. It was kind of like a 4th of July rocket.
Yes, then what?
I turned my head out the window and would have sworn I was dreaming.
Yes.
Seen a kind of greeny streak and then dingo. Something smacked the ground. Knocked me clear out of my chair.
Well, were you frightened, Mr. Wilmot?
Well, I ain't quite sure. Reckon I was kind of riled.
Thank you, Mr. Wilmot. Thank you very much.
Want me to
No, that's quite all right. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, you've just heard Mr. Wilmot, owner of the farm where this thing has fallen. I wish I could convey the atmosphere, the background of this fantastic scene. Hundreds of cars and parked in the field and backwards, and the police are trying to walk the roadway. Cars, headlights, throwing an enormous spotlight on the pit where the object has buried. Now, some of the more daring stories now are
Okay.
near the edge. A cigarette stand out against the metal shield. One man watched the touch thing. He's having an argument with the policeman. Now the policeman wins. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there's something I haven't mentioned in all this excitement, but it's becoming more distinct. Perhaps you've caught it already on your radio. Listen, please. Do you hear it? Curious humming sound that seems to come from inside the object. I'll move the microphone nearer. Here.
Which one was a nice pick?
Now, we're not more than 25 feet away. Can you hear it now? Professor Pearson,
Yes?
can you tell us the meaning of that quaking noise inside the cave?
Possibly the unequal cooling of the surface.
I think you still think it's a meteor.
The location is definitely excellent. Not found on the surface. Here's that.
All right.
Something happening. Ladies and gentlemen, it's brisk. This end of the thing is beginning to flake off. Top is beginning to rotate like a screw, and this thing must be hollow. It's weighed down by possibly gravity and having a thing
Oh, what is?
rising up now, and the car falls back and seems plenty that puts it up here. Here's pretty sure I can't find words. Well, pull this microphone with me as I talk. I'll have to stop the script until I can take a new position. Hold on, will you please? I'll be right back in a minute.
Holy crap. This whole thing. Holy crap.
Ladies and gentlemen, here I am, back to Stonewall and
We're gonna start here.
From here, I get a suite for the whole state. I'll give you every detail as long as...
Oh, Nerds of Steel. Yeah, yes, sir. I figured it will go well with Grim Reaper Sprint.
No need to push the car back now. There's... Yes, it is. Now they're parting. The professor moves around one side, studying the object while the captain and two policemen stand with something in their
That was a
hands.
nice pick.
I say now is the right action. I will hold. By the truth. Those creatures know what that means, what anything means. There's something happening. Something shape is rising out of the pit. And they make out a small beam of light against the mirror. It's there. There's a jet of flame springing from the mirror and a big flash of the advancing men. It strikes them head on. Lord, they're turning into flames. They're fierce one by the woods and cars and there's gas tanks and the automobiles spreading everywhere. Coming this way now, about 20 yards to my right.
DC Tropical Medicine. That's always good.
Beyond our control, we are unable to continue the broadcast from Grover's Mill. Evidently, there's some difficulty with our field transmission. However, we will return to that point at the earliest opportunity.
It's always reassuring
San Diego, California. Professor
when the
Gnome
steps go down.
California Astronomical Society. Are undoubtedly nothing more than severe volcanic disturbances on the surface of the planet.
Ladies and gentlemen, I
Lots of
just
Radaway and Radex here.
Grover's Mill by telephone. Just one moment, please. At least 40 people, including
Some
6
wine.
state troopers, lie dead in the field east of the village of Grover's Mill. Their bodies burned and distorted beyond all possible recognition. The next voice you hear will be that of Brigadier General Montgomery Smith, commander of the state militia at Trenton, New Jersey.
Oh, because of that.
I have been requested by the governor of New Jersey to place the county professor in Middlesex as far west as east to Jamesburg under
Or step backs. I'll take a order.
no one will be permitted to enter that area except by a special pass issued by state or military authority. 4 companies of state militia are proceeding from the Trenton to Grover's Mill and evacuation code within the range of military operations.
You have just been listening to General Montgomery Smith, commanding the state militia at Trenton. In the meantime, further details of the tragedy of Grover's Mill are coming in. Strange creatures that, unleashing their deadly assault, fall back in their pits
And a bunch of quantums
prevent
today.
the essence of the fire. Recover the bodies and extinguish the fire. Fire department, First County are fighting the flames which menace the entire countryside. We have been unable to establish any contact with our mobile unit at Grover's Mill, but we hope to be able to return you there at the earliest possible moment. In the meantime, we take you to... Ladies and gentlemen, I have just been informed that we have finally established communication with an eye...
Hey man, you need something? A little fix? Sure.
Damn. Yeah. Sorry, brother. I don't need.
Yeah.
I don't need anything you got.
Cylinder, Grover's Mill. I can give you no
on pre-war installation.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the bulletin from Trent. It is a brief statement informing us that the charred body of Carl Phillips has been identified at the Trent Hospital. Now here's another bulletin from Washington, D.C. The office of the Director of the National Red Cross reports 10 units of Red Cross emergency workers have been assigned to the headquarters of the state militia, stationed outside of Grover's Mill, New Jersey. Here's a bulletin from the state police, Princeton Junction. The fires at Grover's Mill and vicinity are now under
cow.
control. Scouts report all fires.
There's a bunch of human
There is no
cows.
sign of life appearing from the mountain facility. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special statement from Mr. Harry McDonald, Vice President in charge of operations. We have received a request from the state militia of Trenton to place at their disposal our entire broadcasting facility. In view of the gravity of the situation, believing that radio has a responsibility to serve the public interest at all times, we are turning over our facilities to the state militia at Trenton. We take you now to the
I think this is
state militia near Grover's Mill, New Jersey.
This is Captain Lansing of the Signal Corps, Jackson State Militia, now engaged in military operations in the vicinity of Grover's Mill. Situation arising from the reported presence of certain individuals of unidentified nature is now under complete control. Cylindrical objects lies in the pit directly below our position, surrounded on all sides by 8 detachments of infantry. Without heavy field pieces, but adequately armed with rifles and machine guns. All cause for alarm, as far as ever existed, is now entirely unjustified. Things, whatever they are, not even venture to poke their heads above the pit.
I think I've been in
See their hiding place plainly in the glare of the searchlight there. With all their reported resources, these creatures will stand up
not.
against heavy machine gun fire. Anyway, it's an interesting outing for the troops. I can make out their costume uniforms, rushing back and forth in front of the light. Looks almost like a real war. They're busy.
Ooh, this is Brotherhood.
You ought to see some action soon. One of the companies is on the left flank. Quick thrust will all be over. Wait a minute, I see something on top of the cylinder.
Holy shit.
No, nothing but a shadow. Now the troops are on the edge of the Wilma Swamp. 7,000 armed men.
Mystery Theater on the air.
Oh, right, these are the ruins of Fort Denison.
My wife, my colleague, observatory, my world. Where are they? Do they ever exist? Am I Richard Pierce? Days. Do days exist in our calendar? The time passed when I know human hands rested on the clock. In writing down my daily life, I tell myself I should preserve human history between the dark covers of this little book, meant to record the movement of the stars. Write and live and eat. Find molded bread in the kitchen, oranges, boiled and swallowed.
Actual alien blasters.
Marker above the black smoke.
Obviously.
Smoke still holds the house in its black coil, but makes a hissing sound. And suddenly I see a Martian mounted on his machine, spraying the air with a jet of steam and dissipates smoke. I watch the corner and his huge metal legs nearly brush against the house. Exhausted by terror, I go to sleep. Morning. Sun streams from the window. Black cloud of gas is lifted. Bush, meadows, north from a black snowstorm. I venture from the house on the way to a road with traffic. Here and there, wrecked car, baggage overturned, black skeleton. Push on north. For some reason I feel safer trailing these mountains than running west. And I keep a careful watch. I've seen the Martians feed. With one of their machines appear over the top of the trees, I'm ready to fling myself flat on the earth. Come to a chestnut. Left to right. Fill my pocket. Right. 2 days I wander in a vague northerly direction through a desolate world. Finally I notice a living creature. A small red squirrel in a beech tree. I stare at him once. He stares back at me. I believe at that moment the animal and I shared the same emotion. Joy of finding another living being. Push on north. Find dead cows in a brackish field beyond the charred ruins of dairy and silo. Things stand guard over the wasteland like a lighthouse. Deserted. Tried the silo, purchased a weathercock, the arrow. Points north. North. Next day. Precious sweet dead.
last 2 hours, 3 million people have moved out along the roads north. Hudson River Parkway still kept open for motor traffic. Lloyd Bridge, Long Island, hopelessly jammed. All communications to the Jersey Shore closed 10 minutes ago. No more defenses. Our army is wiped out. Artillery, Air Force, everything wiped out. Maybe the last broadcast. We'll stay here to the end. People are holding service here below us in the cathedral. Now I look down the harbor, all manner of boats, overloaded with queens and population pulling out docks. Streets are all jammed. Noise crowds like New Year's Eve city. Wait a minute, the enemy is now in sight above the palisades. Five great machines. First one is crossing the river. I can see it from here, wading the Hudson like a man wading through a brook. A bulletin is handed me. Marching cylinders are falling all over the
Oh, crap. Scared the crap out of me.
I set down these notes on paper. I'm obsessed by the thought that I may be the last living man on Earth. I'm in this empty house near Grover's Mill. Small island of daylight cut off by the black smoke spread the world. All that happened before the arrival of these monstrous creatures in the world
around. So I was just on autopilot.
Next one was a professor who lived in Princeton who, on the night of October 20th, glimpsed through his telescope an orange splash of light on a distant planet. My wife, my colleagues, my students, books, observatory, my world. Where are they? Did they ever exist? Am I Richard Pearson? Days. 2 days exist without calendar. Does time pass when there are no human hands left to walk by? Writing down my daily life, I tell myself I should preserve human history between the dark covers of this little book meant to record the movement of the stars. Right? I live and live on this eat. Find molded bread in the kitchen. Orange, not spoiled, swallow. Watch the window. Time to time I catch sight of a Martian above the black smoke. Smoke still holds the house in its black coil. Things sound. And suddenly I see a Martian mounted on his machine, spraying the air with a gentle steam.
Bueno.
Dissipates the smoke. I watch in the corner as his huge metal legs nearly knock against the house. Thought by terror I fall asleep. Morning. Sun streams from the window. Black cloud of gas is lifted. Bush, meadows, north of the black snowstorm. I venture from the house and make my way to the road. There's a wrecked car, baggage and black skeleton. Push on north. For some reason I feel safer trailing these mountains than running away. And I keep a careful watch. I've seen the Martians. If one of their machines appear over the top of the trees, I'm ready to swing myself flat on the earth. Come to a chestnut. Chestnuts are right. So my
Yeah, that
pockets-
was pretty fucking nice.
Now try and hide
I wander
from
in the
this!
northerly direction through an
Ah! That was too easy.
I believe it was that moment the animal and I shared the same emotion. Joy of finding another living being. Push on north. Like dead cows in a brackish field beyond the charred ruins of a dairy, silo. They stand guard over the wasteland with the light up.
I'm just gonna
At your back.
clean out the.
Point north.
Seriously?
Building strangely towards
Okay.
undemolished but humbled by some whim of the advancing Martians. Presently, with an odd
Alright,
big
this
watch,
is
I caught
where
crouching in a doorway of a stepfoot.
Talon Company gets its orders from.
Man armed with a large knife.
This is HQ.
Many places. A long time ago, Princeton. There goes this milk, ain't it? Goes this milk.
There's no food here. This is my country. All this end of town down the river. There's only food for one. Which way you going?
I don't know. I guess I'm looking for people.
Alright.
What's that?
So the sewer
You got
entrance
this end?
into there
They're good.
is probably the easiest.
Alive good.
Get to know the bird. Have a shadow. things are now. Cities, nations, civilization, progress.
Yes, but if there's no, what's there to live for?
Or concerts, years or so. Dinners, restaurants. If it's amusement you're after, I guess.
What is there left?
Life, that's right. I want to live. Yeah. We're not going to be exterminated. I don't mean to be caught either. Pain, fat, bred like an ox.
There you are!
I got a plan.
Man on fire.
They be no good. You can, but it's not right. Afraid there wouldn't be any time for dinner. Lives endured, a little investigated, the back. Worried about the day off. Washington, God, those nice people, good
caught sight of the hood of a Martian machine standing somewhere in Central Park, leaving the late afternoon sun. Same idea. I rushed recklessly across Columbus Circle and into the park. I climbed a small hill above the pond at 60th Street. From there I could see, standing in a silent row along the mall, 19 of those great metal titans, their cowls empty, their steel arms hanging listlessly by their sides. I looked in vain for the monsters that inhabit this machine. Suddenly my eyes were attracted to the immense flock of black birds. And there before my eyes, dark and silent, lay the monsters, hungry, naked, tearing around the red flesh, dead. Later, when their bodies were examined in laboratories, we found that they were killed by the putrefactive and disease bacteria against which their systems were unprepared. Plain, after all, man said safe. Ugly, dark, with wasteland, what it was good. Before the cylinder fell, there was general persuasion the war was safe. No life existed beyond the petty surface of our minute sphere. Now we see further. Dim, wonderful vision I conjured up in my mind of life spreading slowly from this little seedbed of the solar system throughout the inanimate vastness of the sidereal space. Maybe the destruction of the Martians is only a reprieve. Future are dangerous. Strange to see young people strolling on the green where the mule spring grass heals the last black stars. Strange to watch the sightseers enter the museum where the disassembled parts of a Martian machine. Strange when I under the dawn of that great day. This is Orson Welles.
I want this.
Out of character to assure you that the world has no further significance than as a holiday offering at the intent to speak. Mercury Theater's own radio version of dressing up in a sheet and jumping out of a bush and saying boo.
Hand on the fucking plate.
Close all your windows and seal all your gardens.
Kill them all.
By tomorrow night, though we did the best we could expect. We annihilated the world before your very ears and utterly destroyed the CBS. You will be relieved, I hope, to learn that we didn't mean it, and that both institutions are still open for business.
Ooh, his jaws went everywhere.
Glowing, globular invader of your living room is the inhabitant of the pumpkin patch. Your doorbell rings and nobody's there. That was no Martian. It's Halloween.
Tonight, the Columbia Broadcasting System and its affiliated stations coast to coast has brought you the world by H.G. Wells, the 17th in its series of dramatic broadcasts. Next week, we present a dramatization.
God damn it. Alright. I'm gonna call it here. Because I'm not doing all that again tonight.
Strange it now seems to sit in my peaceful study. Redstone. Writing down this last chapter of the record. Begun this far from hill.
So,
Strange to watch children playing in the streets. Strange to see young people strolling on the green when the new spring grass yields the last black card.
okay.
Strange to watch the sightsee.
So,
Yes.
I'm gonna leave it here. I'm very tired. I'll probably see you tomorrow night. Probably. Who knows, but probably. Thank you for joining me. Be safe, be happy, be healthy. Look after the ones you love. Take care of yourselves. Self-care is always important. I love you all.